Hello again there, everybody. This is going to be Jund League number 56, and this one is getting streamed, so that's cool. And the thought experiment here is Valki, God of Lies. New card. It's 2 mana on the front half and 7 on the back. So the idea is to not actually have to cast it for 7 mana and subvert that rule by cascading it into Bloodbraid with the Bloodbraid, because Bloodbraid only cares about the front side, and then after you are allowed to cast for free via Cascade, you can then select which side to cast, because this isn't like a split card or anything where the CMC is added. The CMC is just the thing on the first side. The other thought experiment that I'm going to be attempting to test here is Liliana's Triumph out of the sideboard. It's one of our less good removal spells, but it can be particularly good versus the new combo deck that's running around that cascades into Tybalt's Trickery in order to cast an Emrakul on turn 3 with the extra turn trigger. So one of our good ways to prevent dying to Emrakul pretty much immediately is to kill it. But how do you kill a big Eldrazi that's got some form of protection? You edict it. So this does that at instant speed. And although it means we have to hold up 2 mana in order to counter the combo, ideally we're able to like Inquisition, Thoughtseize, or Collective Brutality the first Cascade spell, and then like maybe we can stick a quick threat and hold up the Triumph afterwards and kind of play like a Delver strategy where we just have the threat down and then defend afterwards. The rest of the list is pretty stock. Playing 6 1-mana disruption spells, 6 1-mana removal spells. In this case, it's 4 bolt, 2 push. And then we're not playing Scavenging Ooze, so still playing the 2 copies of Nile Spellbomb. Thanks, Snapcaster. Still playing 3 Ren and 6 as our primary card advantage engine, and 2 copies of Kroxa along those lines, and also just a really nice additional threat. Along the lines of card advantage threats, we've got 1 copy of Tireless Tracker, and 2 copies of Seasoned Pyromancer. Then, of course, Bloodbraid at the very top, which we're hoping to cascade into Valki with. My first impressions, not even impression, just my prediction is that the combo is not going to be good. I think it's definitely cute that the rules allow it, but I'm not entirely sure what this fixes for Jund. It's a very low impact 2 mana play, and I just don't think the front side is going to be good enough on its own. Obviously, like you could like play a Valki and then take your opponent's Uro, and then on turn 3 you can make it an Uro and then attack with an Uro on turn 3. That's sweet, but I mean that's a pretty corner case scenario. And I don't expect that to be the real reason to play this card. So I mean it's got its corner case spots where it can be very, very powerful, but I think in the vast majority of cases it's just not going to be very powerful. So I mean I'm willing to be proven wrong, and let's just see if I can be. The rest, I guess, since I haven't talked about the sideboard quite yet, it's also pretty stock. There's been lots of burn and prowess coming back around, so Liliana's Triumph is fine versus them too. Playing another copy of Push in case we need to be more low to the ground. 2 Brutality also versus those hyper aggro decks, and also versus the various Uro piles where we can take stuff like Cryptic Command or even Factor Fiction when Inquisition cannot. And then we're playing for the various lands decks, Boils, Cleansing Wildfires, and for the graveyard decks, Spell Bombs, and Eshiaks. So let's look at the current modern metagame as it sits today. Actually, I don't think this is as it sits today, because this doesn't take into account the new combo deck with the Tybalt's Trickery, and as we saw in the last league, I ended up playing against that 3 times. So I would not be at all surprised if that was highly presented and it just hasn't been factored in yet because it's so new. But discounting that, we've got 3 Uro decks in the top 7, so still has a pretty heavy presence. And we've got some hyper aggro in the form of Blitz and Burn. And then we've got some combo decks in the forms of Hammer Time, Heliod Company. And that's kind of it in terms of combo. I guess we got some Ad Nauseam down here. And we've got a few mid-range decks. Death and Taxes, Rakdos mid-range Spirits if you want to consider that. Rakdos Shadow if you want to consider that. So overall, I think a pretty healthy distribution in strategies. But I still think there's still some problematic cards hanging around. I.e. Uro, Field of the Dead. Some people think Primeval Titan can go. I wouldn't be upset to see it, but I mean, there's still some worrisome stuff, but we're just gonna hope we don't face it and just play a league. So let's jump into it. So we're really going to be interested to see if Valki performs well at all. Again, my first guess with no experience is that it's just not going to be good. I think I've got a pretty good intuition when it comes to deck building in Jund. Just because I've been I'm around my 4-ish year anniversary with this deck, maybe even closer to 5. It's a 4.5-ish, and I've had some success in the past, really tweaking Jund for specific events, and I mean, while those events could be considered more competitive because like the things you would travel to, I think I can tune it pretty okay for less competitive metas, just like regular leagues on Magic Online. So I mean, I don't think this card's gonna be good just off of an intuition perspective, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. Like, cascading into this and having it flip is going to be awesome, but accumulating card advantage on a 7-mana Planeswalker is not exactly what this deck is missing. Like, I don't know how many matchups that's going to make better, because, you know, like, card advantage isn't necessarily the thing Jund has had an issue with, right? So I don't know that this solves any problems, but we'll see. Yeah, let's go first. That seems good. Yeah. Hand is acceptable. Let's get rid of this chat box. They've mulliganed. That's good. So here on turn 1, I think I'm just going to go Overgrown Tomb. It casts just about everything. And that can maybe enable me to get the rest of my lands down painlessly. Let's just say yes, and then we'll lead on Inquisition. They're mulligan to 5. I wonder if it's that new Tybalt's Trickery deck, or like Tron or something. Ooh. It's, I guess, rogues of some kind. Don't actually care about this lightning bolt, so I'm just going to take the 1-mana thing. And then I'll plan on Inquisitioning probably just the other threat next turn. I really don't care about this lightning bolt. It's not really going to kill a whole lot out of my deck. Should I be worried about Blood Moon at all? Given that my mana is so good, it's probably basically free to be able to play around it. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play Wooded Foothills and get basic Forest. And I think I like that more because that opens up the potential for Blackleaf Cliffs being a better draw. And then it's pretty likely that this Mire gets basic Swamp. But I mean, that has me not having red. So I guess how do I want to do this? I think getting basic Forest now is probably fine. I mean, this is all assuming that Blood Moon is going to be good, which we don't even know that they're playing it. I mean, I could just get Blood Crypt now because that will enable me to double Disruption next turn, and then I could still have like the option of doing something. So I think Forest is probably more important, just because then I can cast feature Tarmogoyfs and I can cast feature like Blood Braids and stuff. So I'll Blood Crypt off of this, and then if I get more of a clue that the opponent is playing Blood Moon, then I'll get Forest with the Wooded Foothills. So Blood Crypt, say yes, and then of course this bolt does not take care of the Tarmogoyf because Tarmogoyf is huge at this stage. And then just say go. Alright, so they got a Stomping Ground with the Stomping Ground in hand. Bomat Courier a rogue? It's a construct. Alright, so I'll lead on Inquisition and see what's up. Oh, there's a Valki. So we couldn't Valki to the Bomat Courier, just like as a way to get rid of it. But Valki gets bolted, so let's just lead here and see what we can look at. We might just get bolted in response, to be honest. Sure. Yeah, so it looks like just like a I guess Bushwhacker Zoo. So I can Valki to take, I guess, either of the creatures. I mean, Bushwhacker really doesn't do anything as long as they don't have other things to do. So I think I'm going to take the Robber of the Rich here just to keep... Because I only have one removal spell, so if they draw multiple creatures, I may want to be able to leverage the one removal spell to continue attacking. So I think taking threats here is just fine as long as I only have one removal spell. And then I'll probably just take the Bushwhacker with the Valki and leave him with the burn spell that does basically nothing. So Forest with this. It's pretty free. I don't think this game is going to come down to a Kroxa. We've got double black for double black spelling. Alright, so we'll then cast a Valki. Take the creature. Oh, it makes me reveal it first. Oh, it's just back here. Alright, and then smack. And I'm not going to delete the Bushwhacker out of the window. And in case the opponent destroys the Valki, I want to have a reminder that it's there. But this is going pretty well. So I can pay X, choose a creature exiled with Valki. It becomes a copy. So I can pay 1 to make my 2/1 become a 1/1, which isn't going to happen. Alright, so I guess if I Thoughtseize here, they'll Tarkus Command in response. If I Thoughtseize... the Tarkus Command, that puts me down to 6, which means I could be dead to 2 bolts. But they can't Tarkus Command and bolt me here, which means the Thoughtseize would get to take the other bolt. They can't draw 2 bolts in a row, so Thoughtseize is probably safe. Just force their hand. Sure. Do we get anything? They didn't play a land. Okay, so they're just maybe have like a landfall sub-theme. Alright, let's just attack both. I'm not gonna... If they have like a Goblin Guide or something, I just really don't care. We've got the push. Alright, we've got them dead in a turn. Sweet. Alright, so I guess it's like... just Gruul aggro. We saw Windswept Heath as opposed to like a red fetch, so that may be a further indication of Blood Moon, because they can get like basic forest. So I think Blood Moon's probably a safe thing to play around. I mean, Triumph is just like another removal spell. Don't know that it's going to be good, but let's see how much stuff we have to bring in. So I mean, here are 6 removal spells. And then if we're super worried about Blood Moon, we could like maybe think about Cleansing Wildfire to target one of our own lands. But I mean, that might be overthinking it, considering we haven't even seen it yet. Then don't think they have anything graveyard related. We can take out Spell Bomb. Renin 6 kills some of their stuff. Like all their goblins are X1s, or at least the ones we've seen. I really don't think Valky's going to be good here. Like, it's a body that can block one of the earlier creatures, so maybe just for that reason it's good enough. And we can maybe disrupt some of their more busted starts by taking one of their Bushwhackers. And then I think with all of this cheaper removal, maybe we just want to take the Liliana's out. Like, on the play, they're probably a lot better. But 3 mana to kill their worst thing on the draw doesn't seem like it's going to be nearly fast enough. This is a lot of removal. I think I'm going to take out a Triumph just because it's not better than any of our other removal spells, and we just have a crap ton of removal. I don't want to over-sideboard, you know. So my threats right now are the Goyfs, the Pyromancer, the Tracker, the Bloodbraids. It's not a lot, so I'm definitely not going to cut a threat, I don't think. I mean, there's not really a whole lot else. It's just kind of threats and removal against this opponent. I could cut Thoughtseizes. That's not ridiculous. Like, it does say lose life, but I like how I can interact with the opponent's like more busted starts. Do I want to bring a card in to take out second Thoughtseize? It could be Triumph. I mean, just for science, I could play the Triumph, right? Like, the whole idea is we wanna see what happens when we draw this card. So let's play 3. Then gonna continue to be wary of Blood Moon. Yeah. I'll keep it. It's on the slow side. But we've got the red and 6 to maybe buy some lands. It's going to be awkward that we can't actually get basic swamp here. You want to give us a land? Give me a Blackleaf Cliffs. No? Tireless Tracker? Not exactly. So if I want to be able to push here on turn 1, I'm going to have to fetch Shock in order to play Ren on 2. But that assumes I even draw an untapped land, so... I mean, I don't think I can just sit here and let these things continue hitting me. And they've played a Mem Knight here. That might mean they just don't have Bushwhacker. Because they can't, like, Surge off of it. I mean, they might just have, like, the 1-mana Bushwhacker that has Kicker as opposed to Surge. Yeah, I think I'm going for Verdant here. And then I'm going to have to hope to draw... untapped Source next turn. Like if I can fetch Shock, push this Goblin Guide, and then like untap Ren and 6 the Mem Knight, and maybe I can keep their board clear enough to stabilize. We'll see. Yeah, I'll use this guide as kind of a scry. Hopefully it just gives me a land. No. Triumph on top. Alright, well. So I'd really like untapped green here. If I draw like Blackleaf Cliffs or something, at a minimum I can Valki, which isn't great. Would really like to run in 6 here. And they fetched basic mountain, so maybe no Blood Moon. Oh god. That's not gonna do it. Alright, so I guess no Bushwhacker, which is nice. We would have been basically dead to a Bushwhacker, but I think we're basically dead anyway. So, I mean, we've got Maelstrom Pulse. We can get rid of both Burning Trees if we draw untapped Source. Untapped Source. So, I mean, I can Red in 6 plus get back a Verdant. Issue is I have to fetch Shock to be able to use the Lightning Bolt, which is kind of unfortunate. I mean, the thing is, like, if I play a Red in 6 and then plus on the Verdant, play the Verdant, I can, like, fetch Shock, Lightning Bolt something. I'll be at 6 before the hit. I mean, I don't have a much better play. Like, maybe I could entice them to attack the Ren and 6 while I get back my land. I mean, the alternative is I, like, bolt one of these and make my Pulse Source. Or a Decay it just because it costs more mana. I could Valki. I'm just dead to a lot, though. I think I have to take the higher risk line of just hope they don't draw a Bolt or something. But, I mean, they've had lands and they haven't been playing creatures, so, I mean... Their hand's got to be just more lands than burn spells. I can't imagine it's more creatures. Like, I could kill the Mem Knight here, but then I'm just falling farther behind. Like, I'm gonna hope that they send everything at Ren and 6 for some stupid reason, but I doubt they will. That's a good sign. They might really just have lands. Or burn spells and they're just waiting until they're lethal. But the read is just no more creatures unless they've drawn them in these 2 steps. But I mean, I guess they drew the Islet now. Exile a Spirit Guide. To cast a 2/1? Yeah. Just all at me. Alright, well. I mean, I'm gonna fetch Shock, right? Get the Stomping Grounds. Is there a reason to get the Blood Crypt? Would I want second green for any reason? No, I've already got double red. Let's get the Blood Crypt. Say yes. And then I can Lightning Bolt the Reckless Bushwhacker. Take 5. I can then Pulse the Burning Trees, use the Ren and 6 to kill the Memnite, and then we're at 1. And then we just have to hope that the opponent bricks off forever. Alright, I mean, that was a good draw just because it's another mana source that's painless. Alright, so Pulse Burning Trees. Kill off Memnite. Land go. And now we just hope the opponent bricks off forever. That's got haste. Okay. So now that we're on the play, is Liliana better? I mean, it's definitely better. It's just I don't know that we want it before any of these other things. I don't think I can cut any threats for just more removal, especially now that I'm on the play. It's nice in that it could equate to 2 removal spells, and like even the plus can be pretty great while the opponent's on the back foot. I think it's probably worth finding room. I'm into cutting one of the Triumphs for at least the first Liliana. I would love to fit the second one in here. I just don't know for what. I don't think it can be a threat. I mean, Ren and 6 kills a decent chunk. Like, if I were playing against regular burn here, I would definitely be cutting those. But it kills, like, all of the Bushwhackers and the Memnites. I think I'm going to cut another removal spell, and I think it's going to be Decay, just for mana considerations. Like, with playing Liliana and all of these 1-mana interactive spells, I'm going to really prioritize having black-red duels, and I want to minimize the chance I have to, like, shock a green source for a removal spell. Like, literally all my removal here is black and red, with, like, the exception of Red and 6 and Pulse, but Pulse comes down later anyway. Sure. Go first. Oof. I don't think I can keep a 5-lander no interaction. This is much better. I could play around Blood Moon, but then I don't have mana for a Seasoned Pyromancer. I would love to be able to go like Brutality into Liliana here and really try to eat all of the resources, and I don't think I can bottom a Pyromancer because that's my only threat. So I think I'm just gonna bottom one of my 2 targeted removal spells. I could bottom a land, but that seems really risky. So between Triumph and Brutality, I think I'm gonna keep the Brutality because that one's targeted and it kills just about everything anyway. I guess Triumph is better in that if the opponent plays like a haste creature, I can't kill it at instant speed, but Brutality's got some extra versatility. I think I'm going to keep the Brutality and bottom the Triumph. And then I'll Verdant first. Just because obviously I don't have a thing to do on 1 mana. The opponent also mulligans, so that's good. And it's kind of nice that I can pretty freely discard extra cards to Brutality because Seasoned Pyromancer may be able to reaccumulate what I've lost. Courier, yep. What's up, Nick? Yeah, I've recorded a few. I just haven't really had the energy to stream them, but I feel pretty good about the energy level today since it's 5:30ish. Alright, so Stomping Ground, so I have access to second red and first green. Alright, I think I'm just going to be pitching that to this Brutality. I definitely want to get this Liliana down fast and early, so let's escalate this once. And then, so definitely killing the thing. The other question is, what mode do I want? If they've got something like a Bolt or a Tarka's Command, the Reveal the Hand mode is definitely better. But if they don't have it and they brick, then obviously this mode would be better. I think it's, now that they've still got 5 cards in their hand, so I think it's pretty likely they've got a spell. So I think I'm going to take the small gamble and then just be upset if we brick. But there's no way to know that I'd be bricking. Trying some of the new cards? Yeah, I'm trying Valki. Claim the Firstborn. Alright, well, we hit. Alright, they've got Bushwhacker. Yeah, so yeah, we're only trying out Valki as a new thing. Here's a Copper Line. Sure, they're literally just playing a 2/1 haste, yeah. Kroxa is interesting. I think I want to start getting their threats off of the board. Is this a Stomping Ground that they just played? I don't actually know. Yeah, I'm going to Edict them. If they want to go land attack Liliana, that's probably fine. Alternatively, I could just cast Seasoned Pyromancer, discard Liliana and Kroxa, set up for Kroxa potentially next turn, which could be really powerful. I mean, the tokens on the Pyromancer kind of answer the Bushwhackers anyway. I kind of like it. Yeah, let's go Pyromancer here. You like Pyro? Yeah, Pyro looks good here. It's like the logic is like Liliana can deal with their X1, but the X1 from the Pyromancer also does that. We drew some good ones. Yeah, this feels like a good spot to be in. 16 with good leftovers. Alright, now they've definitely used all their Stomping Grounds. Actually, no, this is a different art. Oh, that's that art. So it must have been the one they played. Yeah, if I can get Kroxa into play somehow, I probably just should. Can't even attack. Seems good. Goyf. Well, I'm just gonna Red and 6, get back a land, play a Goyf. That just seems good. Like, I could kill the Rabblemaster, sorry, the Bushwhacker, but I think I want to be able to guarantee playing this Kroxa. If I want to painlessly play this Goyf, I have to get basic forest, but I have a land rolled up next turn too, so I think I'll just get the forest. Also, like, for Blood Moon considerations. I'll attack with a Pyromancer. I'm going to want to have some number of blockers, I think, if they do have a weird kick a Bushwhacker turn. Goyf is going to be a nice little wall to help prevent that. And again, I'm just going to do this as painlessly as possible. I've got Kroxa rolled up next turn anyway. Even Bloodbraid is an option, which is not a bad option to have. Doesn't Legion Loyalist get through tokens? Yeah, but we don't know that they've got one. That's the one that gives trample and it doesn't give trample. It gives first strike if they've got if they're attacking with 3 or more. It's like a battle cry, I think. So I mean, if they go like exactly Burning Tree into a Bushwhacker into Loyalist, then yeah, we could be in trouble. It's both. Yeah, it makes the nutty starts real nutty. But I mean, they've got to have exactly those 3 cards. I mean, we know they've got one of the 3. But we're at 15. That's kind of a lot. Let's do the math. So if they do have it all, okay, well, I guess it doesn't matter. But it would have been a lot. I think it'd been close. But like, we can put the Tarmogoyf in front of like 3 of the damage. Then we would take 2 from this, 2 from this, which is 4. Yeah, it was not even close. So we would have gone to like 10. Math is for blockers? I guess. Math is for attackers. Wizard of Jack. Luris has been revealed. Well, this hand seems like it's going to be fine versus most Luris strategies, especially if it's like prowess or something. Also fine versus the hammer deck. All right, looks like probably black red shadow. Yeah, it is shadow indeed. All right, well I imagine this takes Inquisition. Can't actually cast a Goyf quite yet. Bolt doesn't kill a lot of their stuff. Yeah, you gotta think they take the Inquisition here. Pyromancer is gonna be good too, so like maybe that's a consideration. Any land gives us that. Okay. Their hand's gotta be like redundant or something. Or they just imagine this is going long anyway. Hey, there's the source too. So let's say yes, this target you. This is a difficult decision. Their hand's pretty doo-doo though, so that's good. Yusa and big doo-doo now, Jar Jar. Cave. Alright, well, this Goyfis is gonna completely stonewall this Bomat Courier. We've got artifact, creature, sorcery, land in there already. Yeah, like, they can't even bolt it after blocking. It's just gonna be thick. Not even an instant in the yard yet, so bolt doesn't work for a few reasons. It's kind of interesting if maybe I want to just cycle this Forgotten Cave. But Forgotten Cave, well, they had a push, does contribute towards casting Bloodbraid. They didn't have the Fatal Push that we knew about. This is what we know of, minus the Luris. That's not in their hand yet. Alright, now Luris is in the hand. So I'm gonna need a way to kill this Luris, so the Bolt can do that. They can go land and Luris and Bomat Courier on the turn following, which is pretty brutal. I think I want to cycle this Forgotten Cave now. Because like maybe I draw like a 2-mana interactive spell that I can use my Verdant for, or even just playing the Mountain for. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cycle this now. Like I can play a Mountain to play this Bolt if I don't hit something good. I've got my 4th land drop rolled up now, so I think I'm gonna try to hit like a Tarmogoyf or something. Another land, not great. All right, well I guess I'll go Mountain to try to kill this Luris. Oof. Alright, well, I guess I'll use the Bolt. Or maybe I just don't use the Bolt. Because then they're taking Bloodbraid, or they have to take the Bloodbraid. No, let's just play off the top. Because, like, if they play Luris now, they can't immediately recur something because they drew Bobble. Alright, so we need to draw some removal here. Let's draw Liliana of the Veil. That'd be good. Goyf. Not a Liliana. I mean, they're at 9. Goyf is pretty big. If they somehow brick off of a bunch of extra draws, then we could maybe Mize a win, but it doesn't seem likely. They could even produce blockers with the Luris if they so choose, but like any Shadow or Scourge is going to make this a lot harder. Also, removal is good too for the opponent. Removal is great for us as well because we need to get this Luris dead. At a minimum, next turn we can at least activate this Pyromancer, but it doesn't seem super great. And this is going to be probably just Blood Crypts. We don't really need multiple green for any reason. We've got 2 red. Like, we drop Pyromancer, we might want to, like, be able to bolt or push painlessly after already casting 2 red spells. So, I mean, Blood Crypt seems fine. Alright, they're just making blockers now. It's pretty big. So, we still get to be bigger than it for a turn. Yeah, I think I'm happy with Blood Crypt here. I guess Stomping Ground's a fine option too, but then we don't have double black. Let's just get the Blood Crypt. Really don't need green a whole much. Come on, deck. That kills Bomat Courier, but that doesn't do a whole lot. Is it better to just activate the Pyromancer? Probably not. Let's get this Bomat Courier dead. They can obviously replay it, which is unfortunate. Yeah, is attacking even good? No, they would go to 3. They're not even in bolt range because they gain 3. Like, this at least puts them in a spot where maybe they have to block going down the line. We could have even just purchased back this Forgotten Cave, which may have been better. Right, that's from the yard, right? Alright, gonna be careful on the timing of this fetch. That was from the hand. I mean, if they've got nothing else, we could stabilize. Oh. Attacking me. So, I mean, they could easily just have a burn spell here. The issue is if I take this damage, I can't beat this anyway. So I think I'm just going to block and then call the bluff. But this is very easily not a bluff. Yeah, okay. So we need to draw removal immediately. Goif. Not quite. Say go. I mean, I think I need to probably chump the Scourge, and then... Oh, they just had to push. Okay, I'm dead. I was gonna say, like, we could maybe run in 6 twice, the Luris in the same turn, like, on top of drawing removal. But obviously that didn't happen. Alright, so Spellman was good for the Luris plan. I don't think I'm Ashiocking. It doesn't do much. Push is going to be good. I think Brutality is probably a bit slow. See you later, Chaos. Edict is interesting. It's going to kill their worst thing more often than not, but if they got one thing, it's going to be fine. What's up, Dalton? We're playing against Rakdos Shadow at the moment. I'm definitely going to cut some number of hand disruption spells. These things feel really, really bad in a top decor. In fact, I'd be pretty happy just getting rid of all of them. Then maybe, like, the Edicts for it just has more ways to kill stuff. These are going to be weak versus Luris, but most removal spells are going to be weak versus Luris. Thanks for the resub, Nick. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'd rather play against, like, Neoform than Tybalt's Trickery. Like, at least you could, like, Inquisition and take part of the combo, but, like, Tybalt's Trickery is just, like, you cast your stupid Cascade spell and that's the game. Oh, I played versus... My last league, 3 of my 5 matches were that deck. And 2 of the 3 sideboarded into the Primeval Titan plan. It's one of the reasons why I've got Liliana's Triumph in the sideboard is you can Edict the Emrakul as a way to combat the combo. Sultai Snow. Are you playing any of those new duels? Oh god. I don't think this is gonna do it. Like, we could recur the Peatland, but that doesn't actually progress our mana, so this just seems way slow. This isn't much better. I think I'm gonna keep this just out of fear of going to 5. And then we can bottom just like a fetch, I guess. So there with snow cards. Yeah, sounds about right. So if the opponent plays Bowmat Courier here, do I want to bolt it immediately? Gotta take some life to do it, but it seems fine. Like, I might even just not bolt it. Alright, do I bolt the opponent and help their shadows out? Sure, why not? High risk. What was I saying? I feel like I was saying something before I said I was bolting the opponent. Hey, that's a Valki. I mean, let's give it a shot. They've got... Oh, wow. Oh, they've got a push. I'll say this was going to be really, really sick if we got to attack with a Kroxa. But they're going to push it. Yeah, you can cascade into Tybalt because it only cares about the front side. But imagine attacking with a Kroxa next turn. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. But that would be sick. Yeah, there goes the push. He drew a land too. How lucky. This is the last turn that's gonna work, and I can't risk waiting. Is like if they shock, this is immediately out of bolt range, so I gotta kill this now. They can thoughts use me, which is unfortunate. Yeah, they know we've got Bloodbraid, so they kind of have to do that. And Bowmat, yep. All right, let's draw Bloodbraid and cascade into Tybalt. That's a good one too. I can pay a life in order to have the option of bolting or pushing. Is that worth it? Why not? Yeah. So they can Kroxa and have us discard this last card, but if they're using their entire turn on a Kroxa, which doesn't actually impact the board, I'm kind of okay with that. We've got the Spellbomb to deal with the Kroxa. So that feels okay. Sure. Luris not yet in hand. We'll go to 12. You cannot quite attack. Yeah, stonewalling it for days. We are 2-2. The most impressive stats in all of Modern. Stonewalling the opponent's 1/1s. Alright, well, do I want to save that for when Luris comes down the line? I think I'm just going to pop the Spellbomb first and use that as a bit of info. Like, this graveyard is plenty juicy. Valki? We gotta save that Valki for when they lure us, right? We don't know the rest of the hand, unfortunately. I mean, I could do it just as a probe. Like, they Kroxa'd last turn when they could have, played a Shadow. They could have played a Scourge of the Skyclaves. They could have done a lot of things. I mean, I kind of just like attacking and saying go. Like, they clearly don't have another good threat. And if they draw a land, their turn is probably just going to be, like, put Luris into their hand, at which point I can then Valki. Yeah, but Valki doesn't really block Bomat very well. I mean, I can let them get another card under it. Yeah, I think I'm just going to say go. Yeah, having removal is, I think, also a fine read. Like, we know it's probably not one of their better creatures. It's definitely not a land. So, like, push is probably, like, a fine read. Sure. Might just, kill that. Do I want to kill the Bomat Courier with this trigger on the stack? I don't think that's crazy either, because, like, they're trying to hit their lands. Yeah, like, 2 doesn't mean that much. I'll go to 9, which, like, isn't super oppressive. The issue is, like, Seasoned Pyromancer really isn't that big. Yeah, let's kill Courier. I think this decision is close, but like they need spells for Swift Spear to be good. But like this could dig them towards something better. Whereas like their last card can't be that good. Obviously they've got Bobble in play. Bloodbraid. Bloodbraid. Not quite. Alright, well I guess I can sacrifice Peatland first. We've got Foothills as a source of green, which is nice. Let's just sack this and see where it gets us. A Wrenn and 6. That's fine. That buys back Peatland. Let's do that. I think I'm blocking a Swift Spear. That also just like puts a Pyromancer in our yard, which is going to be good. Yeah, drawing cards is pretty good. Let's get back Peatland. And like I could attack. The opponent is at 7. I'm worried about like a flurry of burn spells getting us, but we've also got lots of haste stuff that puts the opponent on the back foot. I like attacking here. I think it's higher risk, but it gives us a lot more outs to just win on the spot. Like they're gonna have 3 cards going into their turn, but they 2 spells with one being a bolt still doesn't kill me, and that puts them in danger of dying on the backswing. So they have to be careful if they don't draw perfects. Yeah, Wrenn hits them as well. They've got to be careful. One of their cards was a land. So yeah, if they spend the turn like putting Luris in their hand, we get to Valki it. Don't even put Luris in their hand. Maybe they got like Kolaghan's Command or something? Glyph is large. I mean, I think I could just lead on the Valki because that'll give me the info. Putting Luris into their hand is no longer fast enough. So I think I'm going to cast this for the info and then Glyph afterwards. Because like this can tell me whether or not I should be attacking. Or they do have a bolt. Alright, well bolt doesn't get past the Glyph, so let's attack for 2. See if they want to bolt it. Sure. That's got to be a good sign for me. Do I want to go at them for any reason? Yeah, let's do it. Let's just nickel and dime them any case we can. Just sets up a few extra things for being lethal. I don't really feel in danger here at 7. Like I don't want to see like shadows and scourges because that I think complicates it the most. Laris in the hand, yep. Makes the bolt. Yeah, I mean also like they have to trade now. If I can ping them again. I could also just draw a lightning bolt. That makes it easier. I mean, I'll do the onboard lethal first, and then if they respond in any way, I've got the sure kill. Like that. Arakidos, a shadow. Alright. I think the only real consideration is maybe bringing in brutality. I think the thing that it's probably tradable for is Triumph. Triumph can kill shadows and scourges much more easily than it can kill than brutality can kill those things. But brutality is targeted, which honestly I think is probably better for specifically Luris. Like brutality kills Bomat Courier just fine, but it doesn't even kill doesn't even always kill Swiftspear. I mean, it's a risk. Brutality can also take bolts and stuff if I need one of my own more important creatures to survive. I think it's close, but this seems fine. Yeah, this is acceptable. It's not exciting. Got a couple redraws. I mean, Kroxa can be pretty good. What I really want to find is like Inquisition. No, I took those out. Let's find like pushes and stuff. Or I can bolt that, obviously. Go if that's a really good draw, assuming we find a green source. Yeah, let's bolt this thing. I think I'll do it now. I don't want them to have like multiple ways to buff it. Yeah, because like also if they play a bobble, that puts me in an awkward scenario where I then have to decide if I want to like bolt it in response to a prowess trigger. Let's just kill it now. So them taking Goyf might be telling us that they don't have access to removal spells. But I mean, then maybe they take Valki for a similar reason. Also, they missed the land, which is cool to note. I think I'm gonna take the Valki because that can inform on whether or not I want to use the brutality. Alternatively, I could just brutality first and maybe clear the way for the Valki. But I think Valkying first is probably fine. I could also Kroxa too, but that doesn't actually impact the board at all. Alright, they have a push and a bolt. So we have to take a shadow. Sure. Alright, guide the lantern can deal with the Kroxa, so I'm gonna have to be wary of that. Am I 1-0? Yes, I am currently 1-0. Drew a Sunbaked Canyon, how lucky. So this does artifacts too, right? So they've got plenty of ways to deal with the Valki. Alright, I guess I'm just gonna start on an attack. It's dangerous in that I could eventually enable them to play their own shadows. I mean, I've got lots of answers for it in the deck, which is nice. Yeah, they're just gonna let the Valki hit them. And like I could brutality here, but that doesn't seem very lucrative. They're in this bolt, push, rampage. Like, that doesn't actually take much. Like, maybe I want to try to kill something with this, namely Luris. And then I can, like, save the decay for something bigger, like the Shadow. I think I'm just going to go Spellbomb, Spellbomb. I could just leave a Spellbomb up and then draw the extra card to try to hit the land drops, which also doesn't seem ridiculous. Yeah, I'm into it. Alright, using the bolt. Sorry, yeah, the bolt makes some sense. Alright, so they get the Shadow back. Drew a Scourge. Funny story. We can actually Brutality to kill that. Because we can escalate to gain 2, putting us up to 19 and making the Scourge a 1/1. So, do I want to pop Spellbomb here in order to snipe this too? I think I should probably be trying to hit the lands. Also, I want to have more options but to discard with the escalate. Push is good. Yeah, I'm definitely saving the push. I think I should Brutality while I know it can kill something. Alright, and we drew a land as well, which is awesome. So I can fetch Forest, but Forest doesn't cast Kroxa. So I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to do the Brutality trick first, and then I can fetch Shock, play a Spellbomb. Which has me, I guess I'll just discard Abrupt Decay because it's the most expensive thing. So let's 2-mode it. I actually have to 3-mode it, right? Well, I have to 3-mode it if I want to take either push or rampage. So I mean, I'm definitely discarding Kroxa, and I guess discarding Decay is fine as well because like Kroxa I can get into play as early as next turn. So yeah, we can 3-mode it. All right, so you. And then I'll discard Kroxa, and I'll discard Decay. Because we'll go to 19, this will be a 1/1, and it'll die. Yeah. It's in there somewhere. I'll find it later. Alright, so Rampage is their sorcery speed answer, so I think I'm just going to take the targeted thing. Their thing dies. So they've got Shadow and a push. Sorry, Shadow and a Rampage. So then I can go land. I can then get Stomping Ground as second red and first green. Say yes. Then I'll play other Spellbomb. So like they've got the Soul Guide Lantern to deal with Kroxa, but if they do it that way, they're not getting the card off of it, which is nice. And like they can play a Shadow here, which they might just do. They don't know that our remaining card is a way to deal with it. And then we're playing off of the top, and I think we play better off of the top. Annoying. Alright, definitely just gonna kill the Shadow though. So they've got just a Rampage. Alright, they're doing this now. Sure. Forest. I think I'm definitely wanting to pop the Spellbomb after a Shadow dies because I want to make their graveyard as small as possible. So I think I'm just going to play this, say go. Like they could draw like Apostle's Blessing or something to bite me, but I don't think they're playing that. Night's Whisper. Yeah, I'm going to let them to make all these decisions before I push their Shadow. Night's Whisper is really good for them, though. We've got a lot of real solid draws, though, and I think I'm going to pop the Spellbomb here to get as many looks as possible at another good play. If I draw like a Bolt or something here, I think I'm going to Bolt it with the Exile on the stack, so they can't bite back with like a Luris or something. Alright, no, you don't hit it, though. Come on, deck. Bloodbraid. Not good. Not good. He had 2 looks at anything there, and he bricked hard. Alright, Delta is nothing, but they get to put Luris in their hand. Yeah, that was a really big brick. We can still hit a Bloodbraid or something here. Bloodbraid would be excellent. Imagine Bloodbraid into Valki here. That'd be sick. Scourge, brutal. All right, let's Bloodbraid into Valki. Bloodbraid into Valki. Bloodbraid. All right, let's do the thing. Valki. There's 2 other copies. All right, Goyf is fine too. How sick would that have been? How sick. Alright, so we know they've got Rampage. Goyf is not big. 3-4. Wow, Valky would have been so absurd. Oh, that's brutal. Like, we could have, like, Valky had gotten rid of Scourge, and then, like, with the other mana that we have, cast the Scourge. That'd have been nuts, but, I mean, it wasn't meant to be. Alright, we can't even fetch here, because then we take lethal. I mean, we could still potentially stabilize with Bloodbraid into something. Not quite. GG's. Alright, 1-1. So far, I think my prediction has been accurate, and that Valky just, like, hasn't really been that good. We've played it, I think, like 5-ish times so far, and every time it's taken a creature, but it's also been pretty fragile. Acceptable. Not exciting, but acceptable. This hand needs a threat. Clearly. Spire Bluff. Storm? Storm? It could be that, like, Electro Dominance counterbalance thing. Not counterbalance. Balance. I mean, this hand is fine versus Storm. Spellbomb is going to be very good at stopping the Empty the Warrens plan. Not Empty Warrens. Past in Flames. But I don't think Ren and 6 is super great versus them. Valky. Alright, Inquisition. Target you. Alright, it is Storm. So they do not have a creature for the Valky. Let's take... I wish we could take this empty. But I mean, I think I'm just going to take Ritual. Like, their bottleneck right now seems to be mana. So I'll take out the Ritual. This empty is going to give me a headache, though. Croxa, not the worst. Do I just get this Ren and 6 running? There's a chance they, like, expend some resources into a Grape Shot in order to kill it, but I really doubt they care about it at all, to be completely honest. Like, I could Croxa here, but that doesn't really achieve a whole lot either. Maybe just getting Croxa into play is fine, though, because Croxa might be the most realistic way that I win this game. I'm going to really need to pressure the opponent's hand to make their empty not as good. The only gripe I have with that is that it doesn't actually advance the board in any meaningful way. It's pretty close. And obviously Valky is just a 2-1 here, taking only creatures. Think I'm going to run in 6 here. Spellbomb isn't going to do anything meaningful right now anyway. Let's say yes. And then, obviously I'm playing the fetch here because I want something to buy back. Get some amount of value. Although, funny enough, I may be wanting to just fill my yard for that Croaksid to be my win con, but I mean, it's kind of hard to resist. Not a good draw. I mean, Valkying here does nothing. It gives him a 2-1. It gives me a 2-1. That just doesn't do anything. I guess I'll Croaksa now and then play a Spell Bomb. I'll do this first so that they don't know that I'm Spell Bombing. Just give them the least info. Sure, I don't really get why they're doing this now, but I suppose. I mean, as is, this empty is going to be really hard to beat. And I don't mind not buying a land back here. I think I'm just going to go Swamp Spell Bomb. Like, I can't even... I would have to fetch Shock even I've got both Swamps in my hand. But yeah, they're probably just looking for rituals to power out this empty. Gifts. Brutal. Discarded a Grape Shot. I guess it really doesn't matter when they've got the empty plan rolled up. Yeah, I could definitely see the turbo empty the Warrens plan being good. I mean, it's good versus me, for example, but against a faster format, I think you still want a Grape Shot because you still need to turn to attack with the token. So I think in a faster meta, you want to be a Grape Shot, but I'm by no means a Storm player, so I really could not tell you for sure. All right, well, let's cycle this and see if we can hit anything meaningful. And Bloodbraid is meaningful, but not until next turn. Definitely gonna buy back a Forgotten Cave. Do I want to Valki here? Doesn't feel good. I think I need to hold up the Spell Bomb. All right, so let's buy back Cave. Play a Swamp. I guess play a Valki. Yeah, I think I have to pop the Spell Bomb as opposed to cycling the Cave. Like I could pay some life, but that makes me weaker to empty, which I'm already weak to. Yeah, this doesn't take anything. We knew it wouldn't. What's up, Dredge the Bed? How's it going? Empty. Sorry, not empty. Gifts. Oh, I dismissed their entire hand, didn't I? Oops. Well, we know they've got Empty the Warrens, Manamorphose, and the land, right? So their bottleneck is, I guess not so much mana anymore. So I think I'm just going to take the cards that enable additional cards to be drawn, which means I think I'm just giving them the rituals. So I'm putting Baral and Manamorphose in the yard. So again, there's a Past in Flames is here, and so is another Manamorphose. Yep. I keep saying Past in Flames. It's Empty the Warrens. Yeah, 8 to 10 dudes is going to be pretty hard to beat. I've got a Maelstrom Pulse in the main, so we could... find that. We've got a couple looks at it too. We've got the draw step. We've got the spell bomb. I can cycle a cave, buy it back, cycle a cave. So I've got like 4 or 5 looks at it. That's when I just get remanded, right? They use the pyretic. Also, Bloodbraid is an additional look at it, but the Forgotten Cave plan digging for it makes that a little riskier. Alright, so they had another Baral. There's that ritual. So now I'm pretty sure we know nothing about the hand. It's just the empty here. Yep, 12 dudes. Yeah, I need to find the pulse. Bomb ya. Pulse, please. Push. Not quite. Pulse, please. Not quite. So I guess I can cycle this Forgotten Cave, and if the first shot misses, I can then try Blood Braiding for it. It's probably the best line that I've got right now. Pulse, please. Not quite. Alright, so I mean my option is buy back the cave, cycle that too as the means of hitting it, or I can just Bloodbraid. I mean Bloodbraid isn't gonna hit a land, right? It has to hit a spell, so it's more likely if I Bloodbraid. So yeah, I think I'm braiding here. Question is, what land do I want to get? Assuming I hit it, what land am I going to want to play? I'll be at 15 if I shock an Overgrown Tomb. That seems perfectly acceptable. I really don't think I want to get basic forest here because of Croxa. I obviously can't get a swamp, so I think I'm just quote unquote happy shocking this tomb. Say yes, and then all right, everyone at home, cross your fingers. Pulse one time. Not quite. I mean, we're not dead. We can do some blocking. And I'm just gonna kill a goblin here. Edict a goblin here. Say go. I guess block some goblins. I think killing goblins is still probably correct. Because, like, if we do get lucky and hit pulse, we could still die to, like, a pretty natural grape shot. So I think there is still some value to having a high-ish life total, assuming we get lucky and find pulse. Pass in Flames as a cantrip. Yes. No, that works. It does the thing. Make some red. Show me the grape shot. We all know you drew it. Repeal. Okay. If they attack with Baral, we're clearly blocking that one. Show me the grape shot. Grape shot does just kill us. They just go 5 copies to the forehead. Block one. Pulse. Pulse. Not quite. Alright, so I think I'm going to buy back the Forgotten Cave and then try to hit it again. Yeah, I guess that's the line. I can plus first. Yeah, it's plus first. I guess it's technically better. Like if I'm on the 1-outer, I should just dig for it. All right, cycle. Come on, pulse, pulse. Another Valki. No. So I can play Valki, block, block, still take lethal. All right, let's get one more card's worth of information. Alright, we're dead. Bummer. Alright, dare I draw a card to see it on top? Alright, it wasn't, more Valki was coming. Alright, so Storm. This matchup should be pretty good overall. 2 Spell Bombs coming in, 2 Ashioks coming in. Brutality is going to be good as well. Interesting whether or not I want to bring in Triumph just as another way to deal with their mana reducers, but I think between 3 push, 4 bolt, and some brutalities, that's plenty of ways to do it. I don't think we're boiling. They've got a lot of non-island blue sources. Alright, how does this look? We need 7 cuts here. I like cutting 1 off of the top just to be a little lower to the ground. Ren and 6 is next to nothing. Let's cut those. Tracker's really slow, but I don't want to cut out too many of my threats. I do need to win somehow. Let's cut the Valki. Valki just really doesn't seem like it's going to do much anything. It's a 2-1 that like very often isn't going to hit anything, and it'd just be a 2-1. Like even cascading into the back half of it doesn't even seem that great versus Storm. It's like you'll kill a reducer and then they'll kill you anyway. Let's do this. Yeah, I am concerned that I've like to an extent overboarded and just like have too much removal. Helltime Draft is fun. I've done a couple on Magic Online and they've been pretty fun. I don't think I can keep this. I just don't have anything way of interacting meaningfully. Let's ship it. That's better. Keep this. I'm keeping the Pulse as an out to the Empty the Warrens. Definitely keeping Thoughtseize in the 2 lands, so I guess it's between one of our removal spells. Is one of the 2 better? I think the Bolt is probably better. We're set up to have more red, so if they've remand us, I'm going to want more red to be able to recast the removal spell. So also Bolt just goes to face. So I think a couple of reasons there why Bolt is better. And then I could just save the Thoughtseize for a turn where the opponent is closer to comboing. Given that I only have 1, I think that's probably fine, especially when that means I can have 2 mana on turn 2. Because like I can very easily Thoughtseize next turn and use the rest of my mana on a Spell Bomb. And knowing that they topped or bottomed is going to be somewhat relevant because we're going to Thoughtseize. Alright, did they top or bottom anything? Game log. Split the difference. Blood Crypt. Yes, Lavax myself. Alright, so they split the difference. They've got 2 reducers, so they probably didn't put a reducer on top. They've got 2 rituals. They probably didn't have a ritual on top. I imagine they must have put one of their card advantage engines on top, so it's got to be either like Past in Flames or a like an Empty the Warrens or something, or maybe even a Gifts Ungiven. I mean, their bottleneck is definitely not mana, and that's kind of what their entire hand does. So I guess I'll just take a reducer, and I'll take the better of the 2. And then we're gonna Spellbomb here just to use the mana. They did a Riverglide Pathway. Alright, took that already. Croak's not great. Maybe they put a Remand on top. Remand's another thing it could very easily be. I mean, I don't have anything to kill. Let's cast the Croxa. Would have loved something like a Tarmogoyf here. Is I need to like start pressuring them on top of interacting. Like as it stands, I think we're fairly behind. Steam Vents goes away. Tomb. Just play that tapped. I wanna save some life to prevent a natural Grape Shot kill. Like I could Shocked, hold up like Bolt and Push and Spellbomb. I think the odds I want to use all three of those pretty low. Is there a consideration to like popping the Spellbomb and bolting the opponent's face so that way maybe I can escape a Croxa next turn? That doesn't seem great. Let's just untap. Another Spellbomb. I mean, having a backup is nice. But I need a threat. A threat is what I'm missing. And then I'll pop one of these at the opponent's end step. Start filling the yard, finding some action. Yep, Gifts was the read, and there it is. Alright, so they've got lots of mana. So the cards I'm going to be putting in their hand are probably just going to be the cards that give them more mana. And anything that gives them more cards, like maybe more gifts, Past in Flames, I'm definitely going to just put in the yard. Especially considering I've got Spellbombs. Like Manamorphose is going to the yard. Gifts is going to the yard. Past in Flames is going to the yard. Ooh, there's the empty. They don't know that I have a Pulse, though. Right, I did mention that I have to put all of their cards that generate cards into the yard, so that's going to be pieces of the puzzle and a gifts, I think. So 2 cards in the yard, pieces, gifts. You have Manamorphose and empty. Right, so Manamorphose in the hand. So gifts not in the hand, pieces not in the hand. So this is the hand as far as we know. Resolves. Ritual. And I think if they've got a Remand, I want to bait it here because I really need this Pulse to work next turn or I could just be dead. So I think I'm going to do my best to bait the Remand here because like they can still combo with the Empty the Orange through this push if they Remand. So I think pushing here is going to have a pretty high chance of drawing it out if they've got it. And again, I really need them to use it if they've got it because I need this Pulse to work. Yeah. They were smart. Because like they can get a big empty off even if this thing dies, so it just really doesn't matter. There's the Morphos. I mean, this being dead means they're not going to have the mana for Remands available, though. And like they can't even bolt the one that I'm targeting if they've got this basic blue available. So I mean, we've got some outs to win here, assuming that the Pulse is good. All right, they're just emptying. So they did not leave themselves with a Desperate Ritual. All right, so we know nothing. I mean, I think this Pulse is going to be very good. And we're going to get to empty their yard as well using our spell bombs, have a spell bomb left over. Yeah, we're still missing a threat, but I don't dislike this position anymore. We've got the Croaks in the yard as a threat, so we're not even that far off. Inquisition's a fantastic pickup. Untapped land would be great. There it is. Alright, so we can Inquisition here, and then Maelstrom Pulse the Gobos. They've got Opt, Serum Vision's Repeal. I think I'm just taking the Repeal here because I want this Kroxa to stick. I guess I can get basic Swamp to prevent a potential natural Grape Shot kill, and this still sets me up with all the requisite mana for Kroxa. Also, taking the Repeal pretty important because if I Maelstrom Pulse the token, if I Maelstrom Pulse, they could always repeal the one that I'm targeting and would basically just counter the pulse. Alright, and they bottomed with the Scry. Bottom. Okay. Promising. Pieces. Alright, well, we've got the Spell Bomb. So they can't take Mountain. They can't take Electromancer. They didn't take the Opt either. So they have Serum Vision's Morphos +2. Decay is not bad, but I think I have to use this turn to get my Thread into play. Red. Alright, and then when their graveyard leaves, we want our Tarmogoyf to be as big as possible. We'll already have Spell Bomb by default, so we can get rid of other Spell Bomb. We're gonna want to keep an instant and a sorcery. Let's keep the Pulse in. And then I guess like a sorcery can go. Done. Okie dokie, hold the line. Oh, they discarded a Past in Flames. We've got a Spell Bomb. Costs 5 mana to activate that. I mean, I could always just activate the Spell Bomb in response, so I feel safe for now. Resolves. And unless they've got multiple copies of Empty the Warrens, which is not impossible, especially since they had one in the main. Top, bottom. Yeah, unless they have multiple Past in Flame copies. Multiple Empty the Warrens copies, I feel pretty good. I'll definitely try to attack before I pop the Spell Bomb. We get to attack. It was a ritual, sure. Do I want to pop Spell Bomb right now? Don't think that I do. I think I'd rather just hold their yard hostage. Again, if they like try to cast Past in Flames, I could just respond. That resolves. Bottom with the Scry. Yeah, I think they're digging towards another empty, which I can't beat right now. Alright, they didn't do it. Sweet. Do I want Liliana's Triumph while I'm on the draw to kill a Reducer? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to keep it as it is again. Yep. Resubmit. This hand has a lot of disruption, but no threat. I don't think I can mulligan this ever. They've mulliganed to 5. This inspires hope. Do I want to start playing around Blood Moon? Blood Moon is a way the opponent could pretty easily mise me out of the game. You know, I'm able to get a Swamp next turn if that's what I'm super worried about. Although, like, they could also just Ritual into it. I think I'm pretty safe just getting Swamp here. It's almost free. What would really bite me is if the opponent finds a copy of if I find a copy of Red and 6, then I can't cast it. All right, there's the empty. I'm kind of thinking I just take that. Like next turn I can Brutality to take pieces. Although I can't Brutality to take pieces if they play Brawl. I guess I could anyway and just hope they don't draw something stupid the turn immediately after the Brawl. But I mean, taking the empty has got to be good. And Brutality does that as well. So maybe I'll just take the card that comes down earlier. Yes, the Triumph is the Tybalt's Trickery tech. In addition to being just fine in other places. I definitely think we're not taking Brawl. It's either empty or pieces. I mean, whichever I'm not taking now, Brutality is going to take. But I think empty is going to be more dangerous. Pieces is... I don't think I'm just going to take pieces. Reason being is the opponent is so behind on cards. I think I just want to maximize the ways the opponent... Or minimize the way the opponent can climb back into the game via just finding more ways to accumulate some kind of advantage. Alright, so... I think I am just going to go ahead and fire off this Brutality now to take the empty. And I'll get, I guess, Stomping Ground. Let's say yes. And then, just how do you reveal your hand? Alright, empty can go away. And say go. I mean, I would love to find another land so I can start Ashiok-ing. Turn off things like, what's the stupid thing called? The 4-mana instant that I always confuse with Empty the Warrens. As I say that, I almost confuse it with the other 4-mana card, Past in Flames. No, it was the instant. Alright, what did they do? Oh, they're casting a pieces. Can't reveal that or that or that. Alright, so this is their hand. Oh, they're going for it. I guess they're going to try to find another empty. Are they going to stop here? They have one more redraw. Did they find something good? Yeah, gifts ungiven. Thank you, Nick. Did they find it? I mean, I had them on actual nothing. Like, they had Baral in play and that was it, and they've done all of this. Alright, so they've used their hand, though. They're gonna have 2 mana after the Baral, so I think I need to take... I think anything that generates mana I have to take. Like, if they get Past in Flames here, I give that to them, because I have the Spell Bombs to empty the yard. I mean, it's also nice that they don't know about Spell Bombs, too, because they might be trying to set up for an Empty the Warren... Not Empty the Warrens. I did it again. Past in Flames. They might be setting up a Past in Flames for next turn. So, yeah, again, anything that produces mana, I think I have to put in the yard. But they could get Ritual, Manamorphose here, and that could complicate it. That's the pile. Alright, so they're going to have 2 mana here. If I bin Ritual, they can Manamorphose up to... They'll Manamorphose up to 3 mana, and they can cast Past in Flames, but then they have no leftovers. So I think I need to give them in their hand Past in Flames and Manamorphose, and hope that Manamorphose doesn't cantrip into another Ritual. Put 2 cards in the graveyard. Ritual. So yeah, no Ritual, please. Empty the Warrens would do it too. So no empty and no Ritual, please. Like, if you just hit a land, I think I win. But you could just effectively put me dead here. Alright, I think we're clear. Goyf is a nice threat too. So I think I'm actually going to just not get the card off of the Spell Bomb. I really want to prioritize getting this Baral dead. And then I'll cast Lightning Bolt first, so if they remand me, I get whatever they're going to get to. get whatever their discard to. And let me just... I guess I don't actually have to pop this now. I can just hold their yard hostage. Yeah, I'm gonna hold their yard hostage. What's up, James? It's going well so far. Steam vents, yeah. So we still know about Past in Flames. They didn't shock, so they don't have a gifts ungiven, which is nice. Thanks for the resub, James. I appreciate it. Alright, and the benefit of holding their yard hostage is now we get to deploy a Tarmogoyf while still having an instant speed way to deal with their yard. Okay, we're doing it. Valki has not been good so far. it just hasn't really done a lot. Does that do anything? If I Inquisition, nothing really happens. I think what I'm going to do here is probably just Inquisition anyway. It's kind of hard for me to lose. I could sacrifice Spellbomb first, but then I'm not Inquisitioning. Well, I'll just do this now. The odds this misses are pretty high. Oh, I actually hit something, sure. Alright, so dismiss and take. Alright, and then I can play other Spellbomb for basically free. I don't have anything else to do. Jam. Alright. I think we're ahead. Opt. Resolves. They topped it. Serum Visions. Resolves. Luckily now they cannot ritual into another empty. I mean, they could still empty and have me in some amount of trouble. They topped. Dangerous. Alright, we hit a land. I mean, I guess I just Ashiok now, because one of the ways I fall out of this is the 4-mana instant, which I again have forgotten the name of. But if this resolves, that prevents that from happening. Let's just go after them. This is going to shrink the Goyf by 1, but that seems fine. Another funny thing is that by milling them, we have cleared the 2 cards off of the top of their library, and they did put a gifts on top, which was the read. Or at least what we were afraid of. Yeah, their gifts have been ungiven, as the card says so. I mean, literally just like rituals into goblins is going to be worrisome. Oh, we got there. Cool. Alright, so 2-1 with Valki Jund, but the first 2 matches Valki has been bad, and then the third match it was so bad we took it out. And that was kind of the prediction, right? Like obviously cascading into the Valki and being able to hit the backside is really exciting, but I don't even think in the event that happens that fixes any of the matchups, or I don't think it gives us any extra percentage points anywhere. It's just like a cute thing to do versus other mid-range decks, which there aren't a lot of. Unless you count Uro as like a mid-range deck, in which case it's still probably not good enough there because Uro's insane. Yeah, like just as the front half, which is I think what you kind of have to evaluate the card on, because that's just how it's going to be most of the time. The front half has not really been that good. Like obviously like dies to removal is not a very good argument, but every single time I've taken a creature, it's died very easily, just because like 1 toughness is the least toughness you can have while still being alive, right? It doesn't punch through anything meaningfully either. Like Tarmogoyf dies to removal, but at least it is a clock, right? Valki dies to removal and does nothing by itself. I just don't think this card's very good. But we're trying it. See how it goes. You haven't seen a single Valki live past the turn it was cast? Well, I think we did have a Valki live for a turn. so far this league, but it didn't actually take a creature. So it was literally just a 2-mana 2/1 for a turn, which was obviously not great. The Leona's triumphs haven't been overly impressive, but we've brought him in a few times. We just haven't really seen them, and like also they're here for the stupid Tybalt's trickery thing as a trial run. We haven't run into that either, which I'm not unhappy about. Roptro. Do I think Skoos is still better than Valki? Yes. They don't necessarily do the same thing. But like, if you mean like just like as a 2-drop in the 2-drop slot, I think Skoos is still probably a lot better. 1 land, not good. We need a lot of lands for this hand to be good. And this hand's pretty slow, but if you're playing against a slow deck, this hand seems fine. I think I'm gonna bottom just one of the more expensive things. Oh crap. Uh-oh. Well, I don't think we're winning this. I don't think we're winning this. Do I think Containment Priest is an okay sideboard card for Toolbox against Trickery? I have to remember the wording. That it does it say it has to be cast from the hand? I guess we can Valki here. Like there's always the chance the opponent just doesn't have a payoff. Seems unlikely, but we can try. We've got Pulse for the first really big thing. Like if their only payoff is like Worm Coil here, we could be okay. Well, their only payoff is Worm Coil. The issue is they have 2. Without paying mana. Yeah, it could be okay. The issue is, as far as this deck is concerned, we're not playing white. Yep, and we can Worm Coil. We can kill the Worm Coil with the Pulse, but then we don't really have a good way of dealing with the tokens. Alright, I'm done here. Tron. Alright, Ashiok is fine. Obviously we want Cleansing Wildfire. This doesn't hit Planeswalkers, right? No. That's kind of it. Pushes do nothing. Spell bombs do nothing. It's not exciting. Can you not do that? This has got to be it, right? Like I could bring in Brutality to try to take the Ancient Stirrings on the play. Or sorry, the Sylvan Scrying, not Ancient Stirrings. See, as fine as this hand looks, I don't think I can keep it. Like, Turn-Wind Inquisition is a way to deal with Tron, but I don't have a quick clock as a follow-up, and like I need to find lands for the following stuff to be good. I think I gotta mulligan this. This is better. We've got a way to deal with the lands, and we've got a quick clock. So, I mean, this is as close to as good as it gets. Let's bottom Valki. It's a 2-mana 2/1. Say no. And I'm going to play Tarmogoyf here on 2. Try to get that clock down as quickly as possible. Like, I can defend versus Tron next turn since I'm on the play. I've got a little extra time. Alright, I do think I have to Wildfire here. Cave is nice. I can get Liliana next turn. Alright, and then which one's more important? They found mine more recently, so I'm going to hit that. Yeah, good old Tron. And doing this first, so Goyf gets to grow. If I hit untap land next turn, I think I'm going to Blood Braid before I Liliana, because I really need to apply the pressure. And then I've got Pulse to deal with the first thing. This hand is set up to win. If I don't die. Alright, untap land, please. Cool. And then my life total really doesn't matter here. Let's just get Stomping Ground. I guess maybe I want to get a Black Source. That way next turn I can cast Liliana and Inquisition, although I doubt Inquisition's good at anything anyway. But I think Black Source is probably worth it, which would mean Blood Crypt. Am I fine having only one green source? Yeah, it's probably fine. Let's say yes. Oop, I need a green. Green. Nice. They found Tower more recently, so let's kill that one. The one other Cleansing Wildfire in the deck. Into Valki. Excellent. Stupid Valki. I mean, that one Cleansing Wildfire is going to be what prevents the Tron. They've already got the map in play. Smack. You know what this Valki is going to be good for? I'm going to play a Liliana and then discard a creature. Is there any other way to beat Tron other than playing 2 sideboard cards? I mean, there's like Damping Sphere and the like. It's really just you have to play like land hate that comes down before turn 3, so it's effective when you're on the draw. But I mean, like Inquisition Thoughtseize into a quick Goyf into some amount of hate is really the best way, I think. I haven't found a good way. And like, despite going Wildfire into Wildfire, the opponent is still going to have Tron on 3. Sorry, on 5. Alright, they played that tower already. And there's the map. So I'm wondering if I should Inquisition here. I think I probably should, because like if their payoff, I guess, like if their payoff is like Worm Coil or something, like Valki can deal with it. The thing is I can't Valki and do something else anyway. And like if I Ashiok here, they just crack the map in response, so that doesn't seem particularly effective. So it's kind of like, what do I want to try to beat here? I think I have to Valki in case their payoff is a creature. But I mean, if it's like an Ugin or something, like, we're kind of in the dumps anyway, and then maybe I need the Valki, like, literally just as a 2/1 body. I mean, I think I'm going to play, if it's between something that isn't a Valki, I think it's Ashiok here. And I think I'll do it first, because I may be able to grow the Tarmogoyf. You know, I guess like casting Inquisition is, oh, crap. I accidentally clicked through that. I'll say I should Inquisition first, was like maybe I can grow the Goyf, but we're not actually adding sorcery, and like I've got no other better turn to cast Inquisition anyway. So I guess I'll just hit Inquisition now, and I'll probably you can use this information to like determine what I want to play. Oh, and they do have an Ugin. So yeah, I need the Valki as an attacker. Do I even play a Planeswalker then? Because it's just going to get munched. That's unfortunate. I mean, I think I'm going to play it. I kind of can't, though. Yeah, I literally just can't play it. It doesn't do anything for me. Like, I can't Valki here because I need the 2/1 body. Yep. Yep. mean, if I draw like a bolt here, I can kill the Ugin and do a thing. Pyromancer, not quite. Alright, let's kill Ugin. Another interesting consideration that may have even been better is I could have just Ashioked to turn off the map. Because, like, the Ugin doesn't actually get to kill the Ashiok immediately, and I can, like, pulse it on the next turn. But that pretty much means that I have to pulse the Ugin on the next turn. And I'm hoping to use next turn to place a number of threats. Alright, well, they drew another payoff. Yeesh. And Sac Sanctum. Yeah, like, we literally, like, had almost not perfects, and they still just, like, absolutely crushed me. Like, we had Goyf into Cleansing Wildfire, into Bloodbraid into Cleansing Wildfire, and they still just assembled Tron on 5 and just had multiple payoffs. Disgusting. And, like, the other pulse is gone, so I don't have a way to deal with this card, and they've got Kozilek rolled up. Not particularly close. So, I mean, an instance like that is maybe a consideration to play something like Damping Sphere, because Damping Sphere at least shuts down the Tron permanently. Until they get rid of the Damping Sphere. But I mean, like, you saw, like, I was wildfiring their lands, and they can still just search for more Tron lands. But Damping Sphere means that they can have all the Tron lands they want, they still don't work. So I mean, in that scenario, Damping Sphere would have been better. Granted, I would not have been able to cascade into a spell on turn 4. Yeah, Tron just doing Tron things. Yeah, let's go first versus CBC Jukebox. Yep, hands acceptable. And then I'll play Foothills first. No, I'm gonna play Foothills first. If for whatever reason I need to fetch basics, I've got Verdant for the Forest. And then, like, I want to play a red fetch first for sure, in case for whatever reason I decide I need to bolt as painlessly as possible. And then if I don't have to bolt here, I'm gonna probably just get a Blood Crypt. They've got Overgrown Tomb already. Swamp Inquisition, yep. By Tarmogoyf. Not great. I mean, at least the Pyromancer can ideally convert some lines into non-lands. Yeah. Wonder if this is like 8-rack or something. Could be Jund. Could be Rock. Lantern. Sure. Junta's red. Rock is black green.
Oh.
Alright, Lantern. Alright, so them having Lantern, it's got to be some form of black green X. I don't know why they're not just playing Spellbomb though. Spellbomb seems better. Let's say no to this. Liliana? Push. Alright, well, I think I'm going to play a Verdant here because if I want to push something with CMC 3, I'll need to Revolt. Could be Jund, but I would probably play Spellbomb. As I am. Alright, cool. So, we're going to have to push this. Bolt does not kill it. I kind of want to just untap here, because, like, if we draw Liliana of the Veil, it's so much better to just put to be able to Liliana it and keep the push in hand. Like, the downside is if we draw something like a Bloodbraid, it's probably pretty greedy to not just push this. Jund Mirror for the final match is a treat. Alright, and we'll get Blood Crypt with this. It's the duel that I can get. We got a lot of really excellent draws, though. Goyf is fine. We are playing one copy of Tireless Tracker, so I'm going to play the Overgrown Tomb here in case we draw the Tracker. Although, if the opponent, like, Liliana's and, like, intends on plussing at some point, there's an argument for playing the Verdant instead, because the Verdant can, like, sit and play for the Tracker, whereas, like, I'd be discarding a land. Nick redeemed posture check. I got this fancy new chair, which helps with that. Jund Mirror, indeed. Alright, well, they didn't have the Liliana, which was good. So yeah, maybe they're waiting on this Lantern for, like, maybe they want to snipe a Kroxa or something. Goyf again. Alright, well, the opponent knows about a Lightning Bolt, so I doubt they're going to fall for the block and then I bolt your thing trick. Alright, not going to Pulse Goyf because mine will die as well. They're missing lands. Alright, well, I'm gonna attack. And then I will bolt their Tarmogoyfs if they let me. They could also pop the Lantern in order to kill both. Actually, that wouldn't even work because they'd be adding Artifact. Maybe they've got Bolt as well, and this is basically just a trade, which would be funny. Zap. I mean, they knew of this Bolt. And I think I'm going to hold the Verdant, again, because I play Tracker, and they could Liliana at some point, and I might want to protect the Pulse in hand. Mm-hmm. You want to cycle this? I mean, they did miss a land, so they may be holding out for Bloodbraid. Oh, wow, they sacrificed this without drawing the card. They wanted my graveyard. They didn't get anything super impactful. Like, they added a type to their yard, so, like, that didn't even kill my Tarmogoyf. Alright, they've got a Decay. Yeah, that makes some sense. Let's draw my one Tracker. That'd be sick. Dude, we're going into a top deck war. Kroxa, oh gosh. Alright, well that's a good reason to have kept a Verdant. Now we get to protect the Pulse. Yeah, I may need to hold another card to protect the Pulse again. If I draw a Bloodbraid, I'm gonna be so upset because I almost like have to discard it. Alright, well that's actually a good one because I can buy back a card and then still hold it. Alright, so yeah, not gonna play this for when Kroxa escapes. The issue is, like, when I kill this Kroxa there, the opponent's not super far off from just playing it again. Kroxa is a pretty good card in the mirror. Yeah, here it comes. Let's draw a Spellbomb. That'd be sick. Just like deal with their thing without having to spend the card would be nice. Here's Johnny. Alright. Discard a card. Take 3. Liliana would be a sick draw too. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseizes isn't bad. It's not great. Alright, Thoughtseize. If they've got a good leftover, this will take it. Lantern, Pyromancer. Let's take a Pyromancer. So they've got just Lantern now. Kill that. The opponent has a lot of the cards that are better in the mirror, unfortunately. But if they draw a fetch, they can even just get Kroxa back into play right now. In addition to Soul Guide Lanterning. I think this game should be less close. I think the opponent used the wrong ability on their first copy of Lantern. Maybe they had some other motive that I'm just unaware of, though. They're playing Valki as well. I mean, we've got Ren and 6 in play. I mean, they're going to be able to escape their thing anyway, because like they can draw a card off of the Lantern. Bolt. I mean, Bolt means that we can continue going up with the Ren and 6. Maybe work towards an ultimate. I mean, this Kroxa escaping means this Bolt isn't around for long anyway. So I think this Bolt is just gonna go out the Valki, and this Ren and 6 is gonna continue ticking up. So I think I'm going to do this first to see if the opponent wants to pop the Lantern. I guess I'm just replaying this and then bolting this Valki in response to a Kroxa. Should definitely be drawing this card here. Alright, I mean, if for whatever reason this Ren and 6 gets to ultimate, I mean, I'm going to have Pulse in the yard to turn literally everything into a Pulse, and that could be a good spot. But I mean, Kroxa and Pyromancer in the yard are really good leftovers. Then I'll leave this land in play in case I draw a tracker. Here comes Kroxa again, leaving a Pyromancer. So yeah, I mean, if I can find something right now, let's turn off yields. If I can find something right now to kill this Kroxa, I can threaten ultimate. I think Liliana would be best case. Yeah, I think I'll fetch the Thin. Alright, Liliana, please. There are 2 copies. Ravine. That doesn't do it. Alright, we're dead. Okie dokie. Junmir. Spell bombs. Fatal Push. Ashiok? Like, Ashiok can get rid of their Kroxas as well as fuel my own. What's coming out? As much of the hand disruption as possible. That's 59. Do I want to bring in like a Triumph just over everything else? Triumph isn't great versus Seasoned Pyromancer, unfortunately. But it's not much better than any of this other stuff. Like maybe I just play like a Wildfire over it. Like the opponent's very likely playing Ren and 6, which makes it worse. But I mean, at least this cantrips. Just like play like one of it. Sure. So down a game in the mirror. I haven't played against the mirror in a long time. Valki, the back half of Valki seems like it's going to be very good in the mirror, though. I'll say that. If we somehow get it. I like how this is, as it enters, you get an emblem, too. So if they remove the Valki, or I guess the Tybalt, you still get to cast stuff, which is pretty good. Well, let's go first with the Keeper. So I'll get the Spell Bomb down here. See no reason to wait. Alright, the opponent kept in their hand disruption, which is going to be good news for me long term, because if they draw those in a top deck war, then I'm going to be feeling pretty ahead. But if they're drawing them all now, then, you know, it is what it is. Alright, Liliana is excellent. Like, they know we've got push, so they might not just, like, play a 2-mana creature into it, but they played Swamp, so they're not Ren and 6ing here. If they play, like, a threat here, and I can just untap and Liliana it, I'll feel on top of the moon. Alright, well, I guess it's probably still a fine time. Just like Liliana plus. I guess I'll Stomping Ground here. Stomping Ground. No. Pulse is fine. I think I'm actually just discarding that, though. Like, I'm not going to not play this Liliana, and I want to keep the Bloodbraid, and I'm pretty sure I want to keep the Pulse. So let's... Sorry, I'm pretty sure I want to keep the Push. So I'll discard the Pulse. Just the thing they don't know about. And the Ravine eats it. Please, no Seasoned Peasy. Just because, like, it defends, it pressures the Liliana decently well. So I'm hoping it's not a Pyromancer. Liliana from the other side would be nerving too. Alright, well, I guess I'm keeping the Bloodbraid because I'll hit untapped land and pressure their Liliana. That's going to feel really good. But we're about to just go hellbent both ways. I mean, our Liliana is going to be asymmetrical first, so we have that advantage. But I really, really want to hit untapped land here, so naturally it's going to be Backleave Cliffs. Yes, that was huge. So now we get to empty our hand, make Liliana asymmetrical, and just like have an excellent way to pressure their Liliana. We just don't hit spot removal here. All right, we're living the good life. Living the good life. We're pretty firmly ahead, I think. Alright, and let's attack Liliana such that it doesn't kill one of our creatures for free. We don't care if they plus their Liliana because we got nothing. So now we got 2 creatures in play to their 0. We've got a mana advantage. We've got Spellbomb in play for potential Croxas. And our Liliana is better. That land was huge. Had we not hit the land there, we could very easily die. It's like their Liliana would still be good. They could edict our only threat. We couldn't really use our Liliana because then their Liliana eats the Bloodbraid in our hand unless we keep the other card in hand unplayed. And we just fall behind before they even spend a mana on their next turn. So untapped land there, I think, is what's going to enable us to have a fighting chance. Their run in 6 is fine. It's going to make their pluses more potent, but they only get one more as far as we know. Yeah, I'm going to let them buy back their first land. I really want to get the card off of this at some point, I think. Like, if they play a creature here, we can just edict it out of the way and kill both of their planeswalkers and just continue being ahead. Yeah, this is going to work out really beautifully. Like, if they've got a Bolt as their final card, or even if they draw an untapped land to kill to activate Ravine and kill the Liliana, we're still decently ahead. We'll have 2 creatures in play to their 0. They'll have a Ravine, but they have to use an entire turn's worth of mana just to activate it a single time, and that doesn't seem like a fight they're going to win long term. And if we draw like a spot removal spell here, it's just like all icing. Because then we can continue plussing, even threaten ultimate. Yeah, they have to load up an edict here. It's not going to work. Alright, another Goyf is obviously obviously excellent. Alright, so let's edict them. I see no reason to fight for an ultimate. Alright, we can kill both planeswalkers. We could just go both at the opponent, but like if the opponent like draws Maelstrom Pulse and edicts our Bloodbraid, then we're behind on board. And I think I want to eliminate all the possibilities of them somehow pulling ahead. This is a 4/5, right? Yeah, so that kills that. That kills that. And I think I am going to deploy this other Tarmogoyf. It'll suck if they draw like exactly Maelstrom Pulse. I guess they could, in theory, be playing Damnation. But if they don't draw either of those, we've got them dead in like 1 1/4. Bolt. This has Bolt being lethal off the top. Yeah. That 4th untapped land was the game pretty much. Yeah, I don't think I'm changing anything. Again, I don't want any of this stuff because it's going to be terrible after turn like 2 or 3. I don't really want the triumphs. I guess Brutality could be interesting, but it doesn't really kill a whole lot of stuff. And like the take an instant or sorcery mode isn't always going to be excellent. Or even good. Seems fine. Yeah. Sounds good. It's not great. It's not exciting. But I mean, we've got some of our better cards. We haven't mulliganed. Still Inquisitioning. I mean, this is the only turn I think it's going to be really good. So, I mean, moving forward, I'm happy for them to draw them. I'm happy for them if they draw it. Or happy for us because they don't want it. They took the Spell Bomb. Wow. So maybe they've got like some kind of Croxa thing going on. Maybe they figure they're not going to take Seasoned Pyromancer because it's redundant. They literally can't take Bloodbraid, and Wildfire just really isn't super effective. So maybe they're just punching the one hole that they can. But I mean, Spellbomb's real only use is neutering Wrenn and 6 and Croxa, which I guess is 2 uses. But yeah, I mean, third land is also just pretty fine draw from our side. And I might not even use this Cleansing Wildfire. It does redraw, so maybe I should. But like, it might be a fine card just to pitch to a Pyromancer to guarantee a body. Guarantee a 1/1. It's not much of a body, but it could come up. wonder what the opponent's decision is here. Is they're taking some time. I guess they were thinking like, do I want to have like a 2-mana player? Or do I want to set up for a potential Liliana on 3? I mean, I guess I'm just gonna cast a Kroxa here. It's a pretty nice thing to do with the turn's mana. Do I want to fetch here, or do I want to just play the Peatland? I'm pretty sure I'm going to be wanting to use my mana next turn, so I think I'm going to fetch Shock here, because if I draw like Blackleaf Cliffs, I will have gained a life, or effectively gained a life, because like if I Peatland here, pay a life to play Kroxa, and then I fetch Shock, I've lost 4 life in lands. Whereas like if I just fetch Shock now and then play like Blackleaf Cliffs, if I draw one, I've only lost 3. So I think fetching is probably fine. So is it Stomping Ground or Overgrown Tomb? I think Stomping Ground, given that I've got the Peatland. So, Stomping Ground, say yes. Cast a Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. Trigger. Yield. Yeah, I'm pretty happy to have drawn anything to do with 2 mana here. Like, this is arguably one of the better things to have drawn, too. Is like, if we draw, like, Tarmogoyf or something, like, the opponent could very easily just push it, and then we're a little behind in tempo. I mean, we've drawn out a push, but this at least does something without affording the opponent to use their mana, which is kind of nice. So hopefully they don't have one of their few ways to deal with this Kroxa. So yeah, maybe yep. So the read was correct. So I think they were just debating between playing something on 2 or being able to guarantee that they could activate a Liliana. So I think I'm ditching the Wildfire here. It just is the card that does the least. And then next turn, I'm going to Seasoned Pyromancer as a means of threatening their Liliana. Or I could just pulse the Liliana. I think I like pulsing the Liliana. The upside of playing Pyromancer instead is that we may be able to escape the Kroxa as soon as the following turns. We'll have a lot of cards in the yard. We just need to find untapped land. I'll have exactly 5 cards in the yard even if we don't draw a fetch. But I mean, I've got a really excellent 4-mana play anyway, so I think Pulse is probably just fine here. Like I could Season Pyromancer and work at the opponent's, which would help work at the opponent's hand as well, because like their Liliana would still be alive. But I really like getting this Liliana off of the table, because like if I land Pyromancer here, like what am I discarding? Like it would have to be some 2-card combination of Pyromancer, Bloodbraid, and Pulse, and like I kind of don't want to discard either the Bloodbraid or the Pulse. So I kind of like just like Peatlanding here and then trying to go for the Kroxa if I draw a fetch. Because if I draw a fetch, then I get to Kroxa anyway, right? Because Pulse will be in the yard and Fetchland will be in the yard, and then if that doesn't happen, I can just Pyromancer anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going for Pulse. All right, black, green, doesn't matter. I hope that logic makes some amount of sense. Like, also, like, leaving their Liliana in play is just going to threaten my hand anyway. They've got a Bloodbraid. Please don't cascade into the thing. Alright, they didn't cascade into the thing, but they hit a good one. Alright, so fetch land would be very good here because we can escape Kroxa, shrink their Goyf, outsize the rest of their board. And if they don't, I kind of have to Pyromancer. Alright, there we go. Hit the fetch. Excellent. Alright, so I guess basic Swamp here works. We've got double red, double black. Alright, Kroxa time. Black, red, red. I think also getting the Kroxa escapes now is probably better because we know the opponent plays some amount of Grave Hate. So I think getting this out of the ooh, they got Kroxa too. I think getting this out of the yard before they can hit the Grave Hate has its advantages. And it's kind of funky. Like, if they attack, do I even want to block? Because that will enable them to get to their Kroxa. They only need 1 more card in the yard. Alright, they drew Inquisition. Like I said, probably not great here. Alright, they don't have an attack. I got to Bloodbraid now. Imagine hitting our god. our whatchamacallit now. I think I'm gonna spell bomb because like that could hit that I'm gonna blood rage because that could hit spell bomb, and I can just play my land first. This is 3 and 3, so they could double block and trade both. I mean, I guess I could just blood braid first. Do I want to fetch here? Save some life overall if I don't sacrifice Peatland? Yeah, I can get basic mountain here pretty freely. Alright, this cascade is pretty big. If we hit something good here, we could really put it away, and if we don't, opponent could very easily be in it with their Kroxa. Alright, we do have Revolt, but I think killing Terminwave is still probably better. And, oh boy, we got a bot in the chat. Do I want to offer the trade with the Blood Braid? I think I do. Just put max pressure on the opponent. Like, the opponent is going to get to escape their Kroxa, make us discard Pyromancer. But then we're attacking first with the Kroxa, and they may be incentivized to block. We've got Seasoned Pyromancer in our yard for additional blockers. Like, if they cast a Kroxa here, and they draw like a non-spell, they're forced to block. They're at 9. And they drew a land. So they're forced to block here. They're not really close from re-escaping. We kind of are, additionally. So we'll go to we'll stay at 10. I mean, we're going into a top tick war with the slight advantage. Or we could just draw the nut. Sick. Alright. So we wind up with the 3-2 on the league, which all things considered is respectable. Let's take a look at the deck. For those who are new here, and it looks like there are quite a lot of you, we got a pretty decent crowd tonight. Thanks all for coming out. I'm going to do a deck tech / wrap up for purposes of the recording, which is all going to be uploaded onto my YouTube channel. So the thought experiment here is the new spice, Valki, God of Lies. The prediction was that it wasn't going to be really good enough, because like I kind of felt like I needed to evaluate this card as the front side, which is 2 mana 2/1, take a creature and then maybe copy it for a little while. And I don't think that front side of the card is anywhere near good enough for Modern. It really doesn't solve any of the problems that Jund has as a deck either. So I really don't think that front side is good enough. And in the off chance you get lucky and hit the Tibalt side of it off of a Cascade on turn 4, there are a lot of matchups where exiling their best thing isn't really going to do anything. And if you do exile their best thing, they're still going to be able to outvalue you a good amount of the time, which is really saying something. Kokoff Uro. But yeah, I really don't think this card is good enough, just even on its own. And like, if you can hit the best case scenario of cascading into it on turn 4, like even in a lot of places, it's not going to be good enough. Like if you're playing against like Storm, for example, obviously it's not super popular right now, but if you're playing against Storm and you turn 4 cascade into this, and like you minus on their reducer, like you're not even necessarily ahead. So I mean, I think in a lot of spots, like the nut perfect isn't even that good. We also were trying out Liliana's Triumph in the sideboard again as a consideration against the new Cascade into Tybalt's Trickery deck to cast Emrakul with the extra turn trigger as early as turn 3. And we didn't fight against that deck, although we did find ourselves boarding it in a few times versus like the Shadow deck we boarded it in, and I think we boarded it in one other place. We didn't board it in versus stuff like Storm because we already had 7 ways to kill reducers with 1 mana, and this just seemed like the worst way to do that. So I mean, it was probably fine. I think 3 might be a bit too much. If I ever expect to see like a crap ton of the Emrakul combo, then maybe I come back up to 3. But I mean, just as a way to test the card, I wanted to see it as much as possible. So I was playing 3. Some of the reason why I was playing 3 Valki. But like the rest of the deck played pretty smoothly. I gotta say I haven't really missed not having access to Scavenging Ooze. Nihil Spellbomb has done a pretty adequate impression of that, in addition to cantripping and finding more action, versus the matchups where you need more action, like, for example, the Jundmir, which just happened. Granted, cards like Scavenging Ooze are also good in Jundmir, so, like, it's kind of the extra card in itself. But I think Spellbomb is nice because it can take care of the entire yard. Got something like Storm that could be relevant, where, like, we even played against Storm this league, and Scooz would have done well, but it would have been slow, whereas Spellbomb was able to take care of everything problematic at the same time, in addition to digging towards more interaction. The Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes felt good. I like the split of 4 Bolt, 2 Push. I do like playing more pushes in a heavy Shadow meta, but we're honestly just not there right now. Like, Black Red Shadow is obviously pretty popular, and we've played against it. But, I mean, Bolt is still probably pretty fine versus them. They play Swift Spear, they play Beaumont Courier, they play Luris. The only things that Bolt doesn't kill are, like, the actual shadows, which is a problem. So Push, I think, is the preferred card in that matchup. But I think Bolt is probably better than Push in a few other places. So, I mean, the 4-2 split, I think, is serviceable. And if you ever need to go lower to the ground or just need more ways to kill shadows, there are things like Pushes and, in this case, Triumphs to have additional outs to it. I never got to play the Tracker this league, but I imagine it would have been fine. We had a few slow matchups. The Seasoned Pyromancers were fantastic. They've really grown on me. This meta does seem to be pretty slow. There's a lot of Uro running around, a lot of kind of mirror type mid-range matches going on right now, and Pyromancer kind of does well there. Bloodbraid has been obviously great. It's one of the reasons to play Jund. And then the Lilianas were good. There were a few instances where I found myself wanting a Liliana, and I was only drawing the 2 of them. So, I mean, maybe I should be going up a Liliana or 2. But, I mean, playing Valki, there's some concessions that I had to make. Like, I literally just, like, had to make room. Like, I'm usually playing a 3rd Liliana, and I had to cut one just, like, fit the Valki. Like, I cut a Goyf to fit a Valki, I cut a Liliana to fit a Valki. And, like, as far as the comparison between this league and last league goes, I cut the other Tracker to deal with the Valki. So, like, those were the cuts. It was, like, Goyf, Tracker, Liliana. Yeah, James, it just was not impressive. It's a cool concept, but, like, even when it works, like I mentioned a few moments ago, like, it doesn't fix any of the problems that Jund has, and it certainly doesn't make any of the bad matchups better, and it certainly doesn't make any of the good matchups better, and it doesn't make any of the great matchups better either. So it doesn't really seem like it has a place. Like, it's a cool card that will be good when you're already ahead, and will be fine when you're, like, at parity, but even when you're at parity, it's not always going to be, like, the game winner. So that's about all I got to say about this deck in particular. I've got a pretty decent crowd right here on Twitch, so if you're not already following me, you definitely should. And if you like content like this and you want to see more, this is Jund League number 56, I believe. So I've already got 55 others uploaded on my YouTube channel. So if you want more, there's already a lot more, and there's definitely more coming. So you should definitely follow, subscribe, like, comment, and all of the above. And until next time, Jund them out and have a good one. Where's the mouse? There it is.